because you got to realize by this point we had less artists who went through the gauntlet and went through the training of becoming a real rapper, where you had battles on the block, in the street, in the club. You've had to freestyle and go through the things that create your voice and your live performance, battling people and freestyling and doing ciphers and rapping for people live and performing at shows. That's what builds up your delivery and makes you a better artist, right? And it teaches you how to hone your delivery and hone your instrument, because your voice is your instrument. But by that time, you had a lot of people who were completely manufactured, people who weren't even really artists, they weren't even really rappers, they just were someone who just simply had the look and had a little bit of the voice, and they got with someone who could produce them, right? And a lot of people became more famous for their aesthetics, for their online presence rather than just their talent. So it was a whole different climate. So it was really special that when, so it wasn't even special, it was just that it was just something to talk about, right? Now by this point, blogs became more of a factor. These sites complex. You know, so this is before. Now YouTube was very much popping, but YouTube wasn't always the go-to, because this is before everyone had a smartphone where they could always be plugged into the internet and plugged into these apps. You know what I mean? Because around 2014, that's when your phone, that's when the internet was always the shit. Internet was always super duper important, but that's when it got to a point where, yo, if I can get to you on that phone, then I can get to you. Hove went platinum in 5 minutes by basically selling his album to Sprint and letting Sprint basically give you the album for free. I think if you bought one of their phones, or if you were a Sprint carrier, you got the album for free. You know what I'm saying? So Hove made $5 million. See, he went platinum in 5 minutes. You understand? And that was one I think was a crazy example of understanding how the technology works. You understand? Um, so during this verse, he basically just says everyone's name. He's not really saying the craziest verse, honestly. But the most important name he said, the only name that mattered at the time was Drake. And I think for Drake, what Drake understood at that time was, I'm a bigger artist and I make bigger and more important music, and I'm the one actually keeping the lights on. And even you can really hear it in the music too, where he's talking about. And I remember in the interview he mentioned this. He mentioned that it's always weird for guys to try to give me advice or talk to me as if, you know, again, as if they have information or advice that I need when they need me for a feature. And he's like, yo, it's like, bro, I know I'm the big homie. You understand? And this verse right here can actually serve as proof that this was always the plan. They were just waiting for the right minute, the right moment, right? And they spent, and this label in the industry has spent a long time building Kendrick Lamar up and make sure that he gets all types of looks. The Pulitzer Prize, the for what? That's not a thing. Doesn't mean you got, no, man, no. Who wanna fight? Who wanna fight? Who wanna fight? So this is Drake's response, right? So I think Drake at that time, Drake understood that, yo, if I was to respond to you and go back and forth with you, all only thing I was going to do was open myself up to, for one, it would help him. It would elevate his status. You know what I'm saying? Because again, whenever people see you as the big dog, if anyone else can put the smallest dent in your armor or give you the least bit of smoke, people will try to tell you that, oh, basically they smoked you, they beat you, they're better than you. You know what I mean? You're past your prime and shit like that. And I think that this really, even with this verse right here, if it wasn't for blogs needing content to post, it would have never even been framed that really as much of a diss that it was. All right, and so Drake, this is Drake's response to that shit. But I'm trying to murder you niggas, trying to make sure your core fans never heard of you niggas. It just wasn't real to me. It's like I saw him after that, and it was just like love. So it's like, was that real, or was that just like for the people?
I think it's a sparring kind of sport.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, then let it be real. Then I mean, because those were harsh words, right? I personally enjoy making like great music and bodies of work over like being talked on Twitter for like 5 minutes. And what Drake was saying at that time, because of what it was, because like, yo, Drake is the top dog at that point, and not only that, gotta realize his perspective on Kendrick is, niggas only know you, niggas only heard this verse because of me. Even at that point, and Kendrick really has been tied to Drake his whole career, and he's always needed Drake. He has been throwing subs at Drake or trying to bait Drake into a battle for the longest time. And was always crazy. And I always felt like Drake would smoke Kendrick in the battle because Kendrick is not really a bar for bar nigga. Kendrick is good at verse composition and doing cadences and flows and being experimental. And really, that shit had an era. That era is really over. You notice that he hasn't been rapping that way in a long time. But overall, yo, so things are coming to a head. Pause. And I think that we getting ready to find out a lot of information. Are you ready for the tea? I'm ready for the tea, man. But anyway, who wanna fight?
Who wanna fight? Who wanna fight? Who wanna fight?
Alright, man. Before we go,
Who wanna
some of you niggas ain't real. Yeah. We out of here, man. We done. All right, we're done. Oh no! What's going on? I'll press the button. Press it again.
I want your body. If you love me, let me get your body.
Alright, we out of here.